It's late night in Nairobi. How can I describe the night? A bit breezy. Shops are closing, a few open. That's the butchery closing. A few new buildings. This outlier session is about falling in the first year, getting those things right, just the basic ones. My name is Daniel Duwa, and I'm talking about folding. I'm talking about principles of business, making sure that you don't fold in the first year. This is a big issue we need to look at very critically. It's awesome that we can talk about this stuff, and we can talk about with some case study, with some experience with how the business works here. I'm not talking about stuff that works out there. I'm talking about stuff I know from childhood. I'm looking around and one thing is clear. In 10 little startup shops or salons or M-Pesa points or what other businesses are there? Tomatoes, we call them mama mbogas here. Just small little, oh, that's a beautiful gate. Doesn't seem like it opens, but okay. In small little startups, anything under $1 million bob within the year would have been closed. Exactly 1 year. 9 of those establishments will be closed, and here's why. Business is very capital intensive. Most people don't understand that, but they don't understand that within the first year of business, you need a lot of capital, you need a lot of strategies, you need a lot of work. You need to put in the work. And most times, most people haven't thought this through. We start stuff because somebody else has done it, and we feel like they've been successful because they haven't closed. That's the premise. Somebody started a business and they didn't close. For us, that is success. That is inspiration to start our own. The problem with that is most people started early, number one, so they have a market cap and they've edged up a unique opportunity for themselves. Yes. And then also, they had capital initially, or they started small and grew after a while. So there is that. And then also, they've made their mistakes over time. So when you're coming in late, and at this point, there are very few things that you can do that are very unique. Except I think the proposition always is a unique service or a unique take on service. Now, here's my issue. If it's a small shop today at your estate, and I'm just passing by a salon, and I don't think this will be here in 1 year. It's on a teen service place and things like that. Yeah, I remember that because I remember salon business because when I was a teenager, I ran my parents' salon, ran it down. I was a kid. I didn't have an idea what I was doing, and my father trusted me enough, my mom trusted me enough to be the manager of that. But before that, when I was a teenager again in high school, I ran my aunt's shop at a big market in Kenya called Kenyatta Market, and she sold exclusively expensive stuff, like crazy expensive. She'd get crocodile shoes and crazy expensive suits, which I think only musicians and politicians would buy. But I learned very quickly it was about service. It was about service, nothing to do. It had nothing to do with anything else. People walked in and they wanted to feel special, and you made them feel more than they came in, and they just felt awesome. So I'd sell. Somebody would come and want to buy socks, and I'd convince them to put a deposit on the shoes, and then I'll give them a shirt and go like, because I trust you, the money you've put in for the shoes, I'm gonna give you the shirt now. So as you come back and you put in more money, You can get your shoes, crocodile shoes, and also you can get the socks that you came to buy. So you find they'd sell 2 or 3 times. Later on, that would also develop into when I started selling music with Kenyan artists. We'd set up tables at the shopping mall, the leading shopping malls in Nairobi. One thing that I taught myself and taught everybody around was customer care, service. People would walk in, and then the deal was this: if you're an artist, would give you one thing, and one thing was you had to bring merchandise. You had to bring a shirt, a shoe, whatever it is, and you had to talk to your people. Also, you had to sign it for them. Yeah, you had to sign it, and aside from that, you also had to what's the word? I'm trying to figure out. You had to be there in person, yeah, as an artist. So there wasn't like a table it wasn't commerce for commerce. It was commerce for you have to sell this stuff. You have to be there for people. You have to talk to them. You have to be nice to them. Because it was first Saturday of the day of the month, first Saturday of the month. For most part, they would sell their stocks, and then you'd get this business. Because for me also, it was important to generate new business. That was the thing. If you're an artist, what else are you selling? Can you perform at weddings? Can you perform at events? Can you mentor kids? Can you go to school? Whatever it is, yeah. Like this, when the stars are out, it's very calm. I don't know if you can hear it. There are few people outside. Nairobi is never sleeping. That's the thing. That's a very interesting point. Never, ever. If you live in this town and you think town runs between 8 in the morning and 5, or 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock, then you're so wrong, because this town runs from 5, 6 in the night, or 6 in the evening, 5 or 6 in the evening, all the way to morning. And you have to know the spots, because if you just drive around town, you to find very, very closed and very, very empty. So like business also, you just have to find a point, something that you're good at, something that you're very, very good at. One thing that's very important, apart from capital, apart from location, apart from unique service, unique products, growth trajectory. Like, I'm going to start here, and here's how I'm going to grow it, and here's what I'm going to do, and here's how I'm going to increase the service levels. Apart from that, there are other things. One of the most important thing is, do you have the temperament? And that word is interesting nowadays. Do you have the temperament to do business? Because that's the thing. Most people walking and say, I'm going to do a business. They don't have the patience. They don't have the temperament, so to speak. If you don't have the temperament, it becomes a big problem. And normally, it's very quickly to point out 2 or 3 people. One person you go to, and they don't even have an interest to sell to you. probably they're having a bad day. You can pick those cues very quickly. It's like when you're walking at night in the dark, like I'm walking right now, and you get this sixth sense that something is wrong up front or behind you. That feeling, that's the same kind of ability humans have. They'll come to you, and if they don't feel comfortable, and the problem now is everybody get a choice, they'll go to your competitor. They deserve your service, as the saying goes, and that's a big issue. The salon has been closed now, the one I was talking about before. I'm looking at a restaurant right here in the middle of nowhere. If they fix the road, I think this person has a great vision. Now this is a dusty road. It's off the highway. If they don't fix this road, and probably they have the property, they own the property, or they're listing the property. If they don't fix the road, that business will fold. Number one. Number two, it doesn't have its own capital and doesn't have other ways of sustaining itself, they're going to close. If those factors are dealt with, then you find that business might grow. But what kind of growth? Because in this area, there's so many, there are not many lodges in residential areas, in certain areas, because those businesses cannot sustain themselves. You can't sell a conference like today in Nairobi. The reason why you can sell a conference is because every other hotel has a conference facility. Conferences in hotels are there to pull other kind of businesses, are there to pull the hourly rate kind of visitors into the premise, not the business focus. Because today, if you have to have a conference, the offering that you can get out there is really wide, and major corporations will do their conferences out of town, at the coast or in the middle of the Mara or at Samburu, whatever else place. So that's not a business model you want to use. But you find today people open a hotel and say, I have a conference, I have tents, I have outside catering. But how many businesses are doing that outside catering? Unless your product is so unique, then you're going to have a problem. The problem of doing this on the road recordings is you get interference. So we're talking about temperament. We're talking about, do you have the temperament? Can you stay for the long haul? Because for the first few months, for the first few years, it's gonna require a lot of you, a lot from you. There are people who like the title, don't go into business, get employment and stay in employment. Here's the deal: if you're into titles, names, and those kind of things, stay in employment, because business is about hard work, is about staying the course. It takes a lot from you and never gives back easily. That's the thing. That's a big thing. But if you can stay the course, if you have a passion and you have a temperament for service, and you have temperament for service, and you want to do something, and you want to leave a legacy, and you are in for the long haul, and you have a strategy, and you have a unique offering, it's an interesting time. If you have the passion, get it done. If you have the capital, get somebody creative to work on a project, work on a program that you can grow. If you don't have the passion, but you have the capital, find somebody with the passion. If you have passion and you don't have the capital, find somebody to fund the project. But be very careful partnership. I'm coming back to the center of stuff, so it's gonna be loud. I've never noticed it's this loud at night. That's my evening walk. My name is Daniel Duwa. Please stay afloat. Please focus on growth. Focus on unique product offering. Don't get into cab business because everybody's gone into cab business. Don't get into this and that because everybody's done that. going to look at what kind of businesses close and why, the offering that you should stay away from. Low-hanging fruits. Low-hanging fruits are not always the best place to get yourself in. The conversation was insightful. If not, or yes, or whatever it is, you can get in contact with me on the show notes. You'll find the contacts on the show notes. Folding in the first year. So there we go. Have a good night, everybody. Good morning, noon, or afternoon. Depends where you are in the world. Thank you for listening. My name is Daniel Duwa, and I'm out.